Alrighty, good morning and thank you so much for joining me. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I'm here. So, for those of you who've just joined, welcome. We've had a few new members this week, so you're so warmly welcome. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Linda Carmichael and I'm a mindset mentor, and I'm also a consultant with the Proctor Gallagher Institute, which is created by the Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher. So, this morning, I usually do a gratitude session on a Sunday, but I've changed it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do now from weeks going forward, I'm going to call it the Sunday sessions. And I'm going to be here live, and I'm just going to be talking about topics that have come up through my own study this week, that have come up with conversations, my learning, just awareness, aha moments, and share them with you in the hope that they really help you and inspire you as you work towards your goals. So the sentence for today is, are you interested or are you committed? Are you interested or are you committed? And I remember the first time I was asked that question, or maybe I heard it in a webinar and somebody else might have been asked that question. I thought, are you interested or are you committed? And the difference is, we're interested in a lot of things. For example, I was interested in learning how to play the piano. Was I committed about playing the piano? Not so much. I just wanted to play for my own pleasure. But I had to be committed to get the piano, to get the piano in my house, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to play this piano. So, and this is the difference. You might be interested in dating someone, but when you're committed to them, there's a change where you will do anything for them. If you're just interested in somebody, you may never, maybe you'll never live together or you never get married. But if you're really committed, then you make those bigger changes in your life. And you can even feel in the energy of the words, interested, committed. And this is really important when it comes to goals, because a lot of people say, they're interested, but nothing's happening. Nothing's moving for them. So my question then is, do you have a goal? Because if you don't have a goal, that's where you're going to find yourself that stuck feeling. You feel blah. You feel like out of whack. You're not moving forward. You're just doing the same old, and you're not going anywhere. And you constantly find yourself going back to those thoughts of, oh, I wish I was doing this. I wish I was doing that. But if you're only looking at things that you're interested in, the chances are you're probably never really going to make a move. Because the things you've been committed about, you literally bounce into action. And that's where goal creation comes in, and it's so important, and it's something that I go into with my clients, because it's really important to know what it is you actually want. And this is not making goals to cover your needs. This is making goals to cover your wants, your desires, because that's what drives you forward. So a lot of people say, well, I don't know what I want. Well, you probably do. I would say you do. You're just not aware of it. Or you're maybe just a little bit scared to say, yeah, you know what? I really like to do this, but you don't do it because we're worried about what people think of us. We are worried if we fail. And this is the beautiful thing about a goal. The goal never changes. It never changes. You set yourself a goal, you keep the same goal. It's the plan that you might have to tweak. Could there be failures towards your goal? Maybe. But the goal doesn't change. The plan will change. And the more things you try, the quicker you're going to get to that goal. So I want you to have a think while you're listening to this, and ask yourself, do I have a goal? And something that you really want. It could be you're looking at a new home, or you want a promotion, or you want to increase your sales. Do you have a goal? Then the next question is, what are you doing to work towards it? Because it's wonderful to have this goal. Maybe you have it written down. That's something that I teach my clients, is to write the goal down, because there's so many people that don't even have a goal. But the ones that do have a goal, compared to the ones that have a goal and write it down, the ones who write it down, commit to it to paper, I'm going to bring in this word again, those are the ones who are actually achieving their goals, and they're more likely to achieve their goals. So that's the question. Do you have a goal? Now, if you're not feeling that feeling of commitment, this is where paradigms come in. And if you don't know what a paradigm is, to break it down really simple, it's just our belief system. It's just our inner mental programming. And it could be the thought, oh, what will people think of me? Well, that's not for you to judge. How do you know? Why would you care? If your goal was so big and beautiful and you were committed, you would literally do anything for it, and you would not be letting the imagined, because these thoughts that we think people think of you are only imagined in our own mind. And it's these paradigms that literally keep us all in a mental prison of our own making. And I want to give you an example of that and how our paradigms and our thoughts can keep us in this mental prison. So I'm just trying to think what happened to me the other day. Yeah, so it's been really windy and blustery here. I live beside the sea. It's quite common to have wind. And I was getting out of my car and I had the satin scarf around my neck, and it was one of my favourites. And I could feel the wind blowing and pulling it from my neck. And immediately a picture came to my mind. My imagination brought me to a point where I thought, goodness, I'm going to be having to run over and pick that out of my neighbour's hedge. They're going to wonder, what's this neighbour of mine doing now? What are they doing in my hedge? All this silly stuff. Like, rubbish. It was rubbish. And then I caught myself on so quickly and I laughed. So, this is where this mental prison comes in. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, there's things going on in the world, and not to give it too much energy, not because I'm not empathetic, but to keep the mood bright and breezy. There's always going to be things that are happening in the world, good and bad. And sometimes when things are not so good around the world, we're human beings. We feel sorry for people, and we start to feel like, we feel bad that, maybe we're doing this and we should be more grateful. Yes, be grateful for what you have, but don't allow what's going on in the outside world to stop you going what for you want. Don't put yourself in a place where you think, well, I should just be grateful for what I have, and that's enough. There's so much more to you. There's so much potential. And this is what I do, is helping people realize that, and then teaching them how to build up that mental attitude that they can really go for whatever they want with confidence, and it keeps them committed and they get really excited about it. Because if you're not going for goals, what are you doing? Bob says people who don't have goals don't have any fun. I like getting up in the morning, knowing that I have things to do, know what I'm achieving, and it's just way more fun than just getting up to another monotonous day, maybe only looking forward to the weekend or a break in the summer or whatever it is. Like getting up every day, feeling excited. Like, how would that feel for you? Would it feel good? It would feel amazing. And you're probably watching this now and maybe leaning and going, yeah, that would feel really good. But, and you feel the but, that but is your paradigm. That but is your mental prison closing in on you, saying, but you can't do that because of A, B, C, and D. Spend some time out of the logical and into the what I call the illogical. Lots of people say, I'd like to start a business, but I don't know how. Well, first of all, you need to make a decision you want to do it. If you're already asking the how before you've even made a decision, that is your paradigm just kind of cutting you off. It wants to keep you safe and comfortable. Even though for you it might feel really uncomfortable and you're like, I want to be more, and you feel yourself bursting, it wants to keep you so comfortable. Which is what I teach my clients how to change. Everything, growth in everything we do comes from a place where we step out of what we are. You can't be a 7-figure earner if you're thinking like a 6-figure earner. And you can't be a 6-figure earner if you're thinking like a 5-figure earner. You have to think bigger. How do you do that? Just stop My favorite thing, just stop and think. Think and use your imagination. Stop and think. So many people think, but I am thinking. I'm like, clearly you're not, because we would not, if we were all, and I guilty at times too, if we were truly thinking, a lot of this is just habit and it's just coming out autopilot, we would not be saying half the things we say if we were truly thinking. And then using our imagination. And our imagination is something, some people feel more creative than others, but the ones that feel more creative, that's because they're using their imagination on a regular basis. They're sitting down and going, right, what would that look like? How could I possibly do that? Who do I know might have some knowledge in that field? You know, where could I possibly earn the money, get the money, learn, loan the money, whatever it is to do what I want to do. Rather than say, oh, don't have the money, don't have this, don't buy this, that's it over. Stop and think about what it is you really want to do. Each of us all have individual gifts, and I believe it's your purpose to the world to show those gifts. Don't be selfish, don't keep them to yourself. Get them out there. Let the world know what it is you do best. And it could be anything. It could be that business idea that you have been sitting on, and you know how much you would love it, and you know how much people around you and your future customers would love that. Buddha said the biggest mistake we make as human beings is we think we've got more time. And people say, well, I don't have the time. See, when you have a goal that you really want, you're committed, you carve out the time. It is amazing what you can do when you have laser focus. If you're looking around to see what everybody else is doing, or you're sitting there questioning yourself, your focus is gonna kind of disperse. It's gonna be watered down. Only focus on what you want to do. So maybe you have a goal, and it's an amazing one, but you haven't stepped out. What are you afraid of? Fear is just so crippling, and it is amazing how much control it can have over our physical body and the actions that we do. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of what people think? Are you afraid that you'll feel like an imposter? Are you afraid that you're going to make a fool out of yourself? And it's so easy for us to think about these things because we've seen other people. We have seen other people fail. And some people do it with great grace and dignity. Others just fall flat on their face, and that's okay. But don't let their failure stop you. Because I can tell you what, there's one story where somebody starts somewhere and rises to the top, and it's an amazing story. But I tell you what, there's nothing better than a comeback story. And every one of us has a comeback story, because we are coming from a place where we don't want to be, to create something and be someone and have what we want in life. So everybody's got a comeback story. So what do you want your comeback story to be? Can you imagine it? If you were writing a book, what would that story be? Linda was here, and then this happened, and then this great thing happened, but this thing happened, but look where she ended up. Because see all this, people forget about that. They only see what the end thing. So it might be a little bit uncomfortable or maybe a bit embarrassing for a while, but see, once you get through it all, what's left at the top is what people remember. And just that thing I said about time, there's this really famous meme or quote goes around, and it says, everybody has the same hours as Beyonce. And positive people will go, okay, fair enough, I get the hint, I will be more focused. Other people say, well, she's got help and she's got money to do this and she's got X, Y, and Z. But I remember reading somewhere that even when they were in Destiny's Child, their mother, the three girls, their mother used to make their costumes. So they didn't start off with all the help and all these designers and all the money and the funding and the planning to do all these things. They started off just like you and me. Everybody is the same. See, when you realize that everybody is the same, it really takes you away from that imposter syndrome. where you feel like you're competing. Like the only person you should compete with really is yourself. And it's amazing some of the beliefs that we have. Like I was having a conversation with someone and they just thought that the breadwinner, the husband, should earn more money. And I was like, what? Whoa. Who dictates which partner should be earning the most money? I thought this was bizarre. If anything, I would say use it as a target and try and beat it. I know that's what I like to do, And I just thought that was so strange, and I thought, you know what? I wonder if they asked their husband, would they be like, would you like me to earn more money? They'd be like, hell yeah, I'd love you to earn more money than me. They probably, they would think it was amazing. I certainly know my husband would be like, go for it, girl. You can earn way more money than me. I'm not going to stop you. But it's little simple things like this that really hold us in place. And it makes us go from not committed to just interested. We're interested in a lot of things. Maybe interested in learning. Maybe you're interested in personal development. And my journey into personal development was a very short one before I took a leap and really invested in myself, because I was at a point where I'm like, I will try anything. But maybe you've been somebody who's been dipping in and out and you've been trying it. Interested, or are you committed? Because when you are committed, if that's you saying to yourself that, number one, you're worth it. By the way, you are worth it. And number two, that you'll stop at nothing to be more than you are already. Be committed to you. And you might say, oh, I'm a mother, I'm committed to my children. That's great. But imagine if you were committed to you in a big way, how much more committed you could be to your children. And we do this thing, we're human beings, we want to look after everybody around us, but you look after you first, and trust me when I say everything falls into place. Everything falls into place. So think about what that goal is you want. And as Bob Proctor says, don't let anybody steal your dreams. If somebody says can't be done, ignore them. You find out yourself if it cannot be done. Do not listen to the opinions of others. Okay? You go as far as you can and disprove. So one of my favourite things to do is actually, when I'm talking to people, maybe they've got a dream. They've got a goal. Oh, but I can't do that. And I'll be like, hold on. And I love to go onto Google and I search for somebody who's done something similar. Maybe they've been a single mother and they've built an empire, or it's been somebody who maybe has been injured physically and they've climbed Mount Everest and they've beat against all the odds. Because once, in a logic mind, if I can find the evidence to prove them, it really makes them start to believe, well, goodness, if they can do that, I could do that too. And it enters them into that belief system. Now, you only need 50%. We don't need like 100% belief, just enough to get them to be more than interested in the idea. And that's what you're going for. If there's something you want to do, have a look to see. And it's not about competition. Like, is there somebody similar has done something great? Maybe they've been in the same circumstances as you and they've done something great. Remember, we are all the same. We've got an amazing mental faculties that some of us are using very good and other of us are maybe just not even aware of. That's the scary thing, not even aware of these amazing gifts that we are given for free. Cost us nothing. All we need to do is sit down and take the time. So whatever you're doing this week, keep in your mind, if you're going for a goal, or maybe you haven't set a goal, or maybe you had a goal and you've gone off the wayside, ask yourself, am I interested in this or am I committed? Find out what the answer is and then take action from it. Because when you're committed, you're going to be thinking about that goal every day. You're going to be thinking about ideas about, you might not be taking action every day, but even thinking of ideas or making plans is still a form of action. You are concentrating on that goal. That is what you want to do every day. It's what I do every day. It's what Bob did every day. And for a lot of successful people, whether they know it or not, it's actually a part of their focus. They may not be writing it down like I do, or spend a lot of time visualizing, but they are focusing on that goal every single day. That's commitment. That's what makes the difference. Let me see what time. 11:25. I'm going to leave it there. I'll just drop that little bit of inspiration, motivation for you and leave it there. But thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching this on the replay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in my social media handle, so you can follow me on Instagram. I share a bit about my life, and there's lots of positive and motivational quotes in there, and little thought bubbles I have from time to time. And I'm going to see you all next week at 11 a.m. for Sunday sessions. Thank you so much for joining me today.